We have a legacy app written in an unpopular language. How should we approach rewriting it? First, I'm going to challenge you whether or not you actually need to rewrite this. Can you shut it down entirely? Is this just a thing that needs to go away? If that's not the case, can you put it with 2 or 3 people that are going to maintain this thing going forward in the legacy language or framework or whatever it is? And that's a much better path than you dedicating time, energy, and resources to go rewrite this. That said, if you've decided that you're going to rewrite this, I say you have to downside hedge your risk entirely. You have to keep the other application up and running as long as possible. You have to iteratively start putting services online or functionality online in the new language. You can't do a big bang approach. You'll be just F from the beginning. If this is your core business, if this is literally the entire revenue stream for your entire business and it needs to be rewritten, I still challenge you to think about how you're going to do this. Facebook is a PHP application. Could you imagine the risk it would take into their business to rewrite this in any other language? There's a lot of opinion on remote versus in person. What do you think is better? So I think there's a lot of opinion. I think there's a lot of uninformed opinion. And I think there's a lot of, what do I want to say here? Personally satisfying perspective on this. Remote or in person, that's the wrong question. Is what do you need right now? I've been remote for 12 years. And what I say is, as a startup, it is much easier for you to be a startup if you're all together. If you're in the same office, it's going to be easier for you. Not because in person's easier, because you don't know how to be a company yet. You literally have to stop all the stuff that's going to get in your way of getting your product into customers' hands. And that includes how to be a real company. So just do the things that make it easier for you to become a real company. And that's easier in person. Over time, every company is a remote company. The moment that you have to write something down for a person in another department to actually consume it and actually have information about it, you're a remote company. So when someone says remote versus in person, better or worse, they literally don't know what they're talking about. They have never been through a startup to a big company. They don't understand the fact that you actually have elements of this all over the place. In a megacorp like Microsoft, where it should treat itself and does treat itself like a remote entity, you'll have pockets of people who are getting together on a regular basis because they're a small, tiny entity of 4 or 5 or 10 people who are working on one project, who are releasing things in a matter of hours, and that is the way that they're going to operate, and they're going to have the best use of their time. We've grown to need a dedicated data team. Where should that team report? So I think this is the same answer as most things as you build a company. The company starts as a monolithic unit of everyone super flat. As it grows, you start to sprinkle out and break away, and you have subunits. Data is no different. So I think data typically starts out of engineering organization needing to do something, and they're going to pull this together, particularly product data. So in that case, what I say is you just have a data engineer inside your engineering organization that's pulling together, collating the data, and putting the systems in place for that. At some point, you're going to say, hey, should this live in marketing? Should this live in ops? The real answer to this question is you're probably going to have people who care about something. They're in ops specifically, or they're in marketing specifically, and they're interacting with your databases and your data sets. Your marketing people, your ops people, all those people need to know how to interact and run those reports. They should not be asking the engineers or the data engineers to pull the reports. That is a dysfunction that needs to go away. You should build your organization to be resilient enough to say, I'm building a data warehouse over here and a data aggregator over here, and then the people over here know how to run their own businesses. And that means running SQL queries, making their own dashboards, doing all those sorts of things.